So guys, welcome to another video, and you see the title of this video. It's a little bit different and it sounds a little bit clickbaity, but it's actually not. And I'm going to break down the maths here and show you how I actually work around 85 hours per day. I know it sounds crazy and you're probably thinking, how is that even possible if there's only 24 hours in a day? But I need you guys to start thinking in terms of how rich people think about time. So there's a huge difference between rich and the poor. There's a reason why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And it's because the rich have been able to figure out that you need to separate your time from money. So this is some real deep kind of like the way how money works, the way how time works, the way how you really get rich. Because think about it, guys, there's people out there that are making like $1 million a day, like $1 million per day. Like that, just sink in for you. And there's many people doing it. It's not just one or two people. Go and check the Forbes list, go and check. There's people out there making hundreds of millions a day. Like literally, if you take a look at like Elon Musk and stuff like that, richest man in the world at the time of recording this. I can't remember what his net worth is, but I'm pretty sure someone will put it in the comments. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you work out how much he actually makes per day, it's just phenomenal. Now, there's a reason for that though. It's because he has a company. He's been able to obviously provide an amazing service to us as humanity. I feel like Elon Musk is just an alien from a different planet and he's just like trying to save humanity, to be honest with you. He's been able to do that, but it's not only just that, but when you actually come down to the logistics of it, it's because he's actually got a team. He's got a team of people. He's a CEO. He's got multiple companies doing multiple different things and people working for him. So he's working on the businesses, not in the businesses. And I need you guys to understand this. Now, let me quickly break down these numbers real quick for you guys. So how on earth am I, Montel Gordon, a 25-year-old from Sheffield, growing up in like the hood, how am I working 85 hours per day? How is that even possible? Well, first of all, let me break this down for you. So number one, obviously, by the way, I'm looking over here because I've got some notes. So number one, I have a YouTube channel, right? Now, I'm going to throw a screenshot up on my YouTube channel, kind of like statistics. This is very just being transparent with you guys. But as you can see on my YouTube channel statistics, it says that I'm getting a view, kind of like my view minutes, if you will. It's around 25.9K, so 25,900 watch minutes per week. Now, if we actually do the maths on that, that's around 432 hours per week. It's actually 431.6. I'll just round it up real quick. Now, if you actually work out how many hours a day that actually is of me actually being watched, that's around 61.6 hours per day. Now, I see YouTube obviously as a way to document myself, but it's also now become kind of a business as well in terms of like the consulting, helping people with agency tramitation. So just from my YouTube alone, I've been able to document my journey and actually duplicate myself. This is what I'm trying to talk to you guys about. Starting a consulting business, starting some sort of business where it has a long half-life. A long half-life, for example, let me give you a perfect example of this. On my YouTube channel, this very YouTube channel that you're watching, there's obviously many videos. There's over 200 and something videos at this particular point, which is crazy. Lots of well, it's a decent sized channel. It's not massive. So these stats aren't anything like kind of crazy. But as you can see, there's a lot of watch minutes being watched on my YouTube channel, per week. It's kind of, slightly blown up, slightly a little bit, and the growth's looking good. But what I'm trying to say here, guys, is I've duplicated myself. Now, I'll give you a real life example. If you take a look at my actual channel, there's multiple videos on how I've been able to get results for like e-com brands, how I've been able to get results for real estate agents and stuff like that. Actual videos of me documenting and like breaking down case studies and stuff like that. Now, that's what you call a long half-life. I kind of like, I wouldn't even say it's an outreach method. It's more of just a branding method that has a long half-life. And here's what I mean by that. When you create a video, let's say you're in the e-com space right now and you're trying to reach out and do 20 emails per day by yourself, which is obviously very time consuming, very tedious. That's probably going to take you about 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours, 5 hours to actually do that. Believe me, I know. Lead sourcing, prospecting, first line writing, very, very difficult to do, which is why agency tramitation, I teach you the hybrid system, which is putting a team in place in order to do this, which is going to link me back into this video very, very, very well. But for those who want to enroll, by the way, just completely forgot, slipped my mind, there is a new update to the website. So go below, click on the agency tramitation website. You can actually now enroll from the actual screen itself and actually check out on the actual website itself. Now that I've updated after the video that I made about how there's no pixel on it, I got shouted at by a couple of friends of mine that are obviously doing a very similar thing. They're like, bro, that's very irresponsible. Go and actually help more people, genuinely help more people, because you're actually doing a good job. Anyway, long story short, here's what I mean by I've duplicated myself. There's videos on my channel that have stayed on my channel now, and people can watch them at any time they want. That basically means my YouTube channel is going to grow, and the more it grows, the more people are going to inquire about my services, such as my consulting services, such as about my agency services. Now, how do you replicate this? You don't technically have to be one of these gurus. I don't see myself as a guru. I just literally document my journey, and people just started asking me like, Montel, can I get help from you? I actually declined people for a whole year. I'm not even joking. Everybody was asking me for help on my Instagram channel. Excuse me, on my Instagram. I don't know why it's my Instagram channel. Everybody was asking me for help on my YouTube channel. Everybody was DMing me on Instagram and asking for help. I was literally declining everybody for a whole year. You don't need to do that. You don't even need to be a make money online type of dude. You can literally go start a YouTube channel on how to overcome gaming addiction. I always mention this kind of like on my channel and stuff like that, well, the past previous videos, but you guys are not kind of like, you're thinking too one-dimensionally. Everybody just wants to do Facebook ads for e-com brands or Facebook ads for real estate businesses. There's so much different services you can actually offer. There's so many different business models you can actually offer as well. There's done for you, there's do it yourself, there's done with you, if you will. So these are all different types of business models you can actually get into. Now let me actually break these numbers down real quick. So YouTube, that's clocking in around 61.6 actual hours per day being viewed, which is absolutely nuts. Every single day right now, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, at the time of recording this, I am being viewed 61 hours per day, which is absolutely nuts. Then I'm obviously myself, I'm doing Upwork outreach. I do 15 outreach per day on Upwork. That's 45 minutes per day. So that's like 0.75 hours if you want to get, technical about, 3/4 of an hour, if you will. Ecom outreach team. Now I've got a team, guys. Let me break this down for you real quick. I've got a team of 2 people doing first line writing and lead sourcing for me. So they actually go out there, they qualify brands and stuff like that, and they do the outreach. Now generously, it's probably gonna take them around 2 hours each, and they do 25 of these a day, by the way. So each first line writer, 25 emails per day each. That's 50 emails per day. I don't touch that, but again, this is my team. So technically I'm working, I've duplicated myself yet again. This is why I keep mentioning the hybrid system and why I broke this down in each ramification again. Enrollment is still open. Link is in the actual bio, quick plug right there. But I'm trying to get you guys to think smart instead of working hard. Instead of working hard, work smart, if you will. And this is how you work smart. I've got a team of 2 people doing 25 emails per day for me to reach out to e-com brands. They individually are doing 25 outreach per day. So that's 50 outreach per day. And that's 5 days a week, by the way. I reckon that's probably gonna take them around 2 hours each per day. So that's 4 hours per day. So bear with me. YouTube, 61 hours a day. Upwork, 45 minutes per day. Outreach team, it's 4 hours a day. Now I take sales calls. I set anywhere between 14 and 17 sales calls per week. Sometimes it can be like 22 sales calls and stuff like that, all the way up to like 25. I think the most I've ever set in a particular week. And that right there, each call lasts around 30 hours. So if I'm doing let's just take 15 is kind of like the average week, if you will. And that's, by the way, agency and consulting business combined. And that's around 1.25 hours per day. I do coaching calls as well. That's 1 hour a day. Communicating with my actual e-com clients and my actual social media management client, that takes me about 1 hour per day, I would say, roughly. Client service delivery, that's outsourced again. That's anywhere between 2 to 5 hours per day, depending on the day, of course. Depending on whether it's like a Sunday, we need to create 7 days worth of content in advance, stuff like that could take, to 2 hours, 2 to 5 hours, something like that. And then agency transmutation, my online program, because the work is front loaded and it's an online program that you can take anytime you want. There's going to be multiple people watching that. I reckon that might be about 10 hours a day of people actually watching the content, because it's actually starting to grow right now. Implementation is actually kind of, quote unquote, taking off, just because it physically and logically makes sense, because I'm mentioning this sort of stuff inside of implementation, which is don't do it all yourself. Everybody trying to do all this hard work. Instead, what you need to be doing is working smart. So whilst you dudes are doing 20 outreach per day by yourselves, and that's taking you, 5 hours of your actual personal time, I'm working 85 plus hours per day. It's physically impossible that you're actually going to beat me. Obviously, the YouTube channel, if you take away the 60 hours a day, I'm still working like 15 something hours a day or something like that. That's not even physically possible if you are, whatever it was like 20 hours a day, maybe 20. I'm working 20 hours a day or whatever it is. But, actually with my agency alone, no personal brand and stuff like that. So I'm working about 20 hours a day or something like that in the agency. And actually it might be slightly lower than that, but you get the point I'm trying to make, guys. You're trying to do it all yourself. I have teams. I have duplicated myself and I have teams. Those two things combined, I've got a team, I have duplicated myself. Combined, I'm working 85 hours per day. Now, the reason why I'm even doing this video, guys, is because I need you guys to start smartening up, wisening up, and start thinking on these terms. You can't get rich doing $10 an hour jobs. And what I mean by that is if you're still doing your lead sourcing, your prospecting, your first line writing, you're doing the service delivery, and you're doing the sales for your agency, there is no physical way you're going to be able to compete with me, especially like next year when I start implementing like a sales team and I start running ads. That's like physically can't even, you won't even be able to compete with me at that particular point. Not because I'm doing anything greater than you, it's just because I've got better systems than you. And that's what I'm talking about. Systems are going to be able to free up your time and actually duplicate yourself so you're working more hours. The more hours you work, the more input you can put in. And I think it was like Oprah Winfrey. I think there's like an example going around the internet. I've heard it multiple times. Like Oprah Winfrey, right, has 24 hours in a day. yet she's making, you know, billions. How is that possible? It's because she's got a team of people, she's got a network, she's got a brand behind her, if you will. And that's why it's so important for you guys to build up a brand. And again, you don't technically have to teach people how to do SMMA, because obviously I know that this channel's primarily here for the SMMA stuff or the consultant stuff or the personal branding stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean if you're just going to start a YouTube channel, you have to teach SMMA. You can go out there and actually start a personal brand in the e-com space. If you still want to run an agency, I do recommend you do. If you still want to run an agency, for example, which obviously I 100% recommend you start an agency. It's one of the best business models you can ever actually get into. I absolutely love it. But it's literally changed my life. I would actually say that SMA actually saved me from going down the wrong path, if I'm being honest with you guys. That's how much I love SMA. But anyway, long story short, if you guys still want to go into like SMA and stuff like that, there's multiple ways you can do it. You don't have to do cold outreach by yourself or anything like that. You can actually, number one, get a team, or even number two, get inbound leads somehow. Now, the way the somehow would be, you could start a YouTube channel, you could start a Facebook group, you could start a LinkedIn kind of like group, if you will, or reach out to people on LinkedIn and post content. The reason why I'm recommending, you know, posting content, starting an actual personal brand is because when leads come to you, you have so much more power. It just feels so much more right, if you will. You don't really have to sell your services. Even using stuff like Upwork, people can actually come to you on Upwork, and it has a long half-life. As in, let me give you an example. When you do a cold email, right, to 20 ecom businesses with follow-ups, after those follow-ups are done, that's pretty much it. As in, like, if you don't re-engage with them, that's pretty much it. It doesn't grow, it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't get you inbound leads, if you will. But whereas if you do a YouTube video, right, on how to run Facebook ads for ecom brands, and it's genuinely a good video and it genuinely starts ranking on YouTube, many ecom brand owners may actually watch that. And this has happened to me. I've got multiple people that have actually popped up to me because of my YouTube channel. I'm actually just talking about SMA services, like not even just SMA itself to you guys. I'm actually talking about the actual things we do in our agency, such as how to run Facebook ads for real estate businesses. I've had multiple, you know, real estate agents actually come to me and actually become a client of mine. In fact, my very, very first ever real estate agent from the UK actually came from my LinkedIn. And what I did was I created a case study funnel, I created content, I released the case study funnel, and within like 24 hours, this guy went through my funnel, and literally I closed him the very next day. I think it was like 36 hours later or something like that. I already had my first actual real estate client through an actual funnel. He came to me. This is what I'm trying to say to you guys. Now, if I continued with the real estate space and stuff like that, no, I've got my case study for my ecom brand, but if I really want to change my YouTube channel or start another one, all I would do is literally just talk about Facebook ads for ecom. So how to navigate the iOS 14, iOS 15 updates. What's the best methods of actually generating sales for your ecom brand, your Shopify store. There's multiple kind of like video ideas you can actually put out there, and that's going to help you build this brand and get you inbound leads. So guys, this is how I'm working around 85 hours plus per day. It's probably even slightly more. There's stuff that I probably not even factored in. So again, the stuff that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis is, well, I'm being watched around 61 hours per day, 45 minutes per day on Upwork outreach, ecom outreach, which is outsourced. I don't do any of that, but technically it's still my team. That's around 4 hours per day. Sales calls, I'm doing about 1.25 hours per day on that. Coaching calls that I do, you know, with actual one-to-one students. If you're interested in that, I'll leave the link below as well, or just send me a DM on Instagram. It's kind of, you know, getting packed out now, to be honest with you. Coaching calls is 1 hour per day. Me first, like physically actually communicating with my clients on Slack, that only takes me about 1 hour a day, if that. I barely, like most of my clients, social media management clients, so I barely even have to speak to them. Client service delivery, that's outsourced completely. I haven't done any client work since like March 2020. Yeah, March 2020, or it's actually December 2021 right now. So I actually haven't done any client work in absolutely ages. Client service delivery outsourced about 2 to 5 hours a day. Then obviously I've got my agency transmutation, which is my online program. And there's multiple people in that watching my work that I've previously done that's front loaded. This is what I'm trying to say. It has a long half-life. I did the work once, multiple people can watch that. I do a YouTube video once, multiple people can watch this exact same video. I can do this video once. It takes me what, 15 minutes. We're into this video right now at the time of recording this, obviously minus the edits. So 15 minutes, I'm looking at the camera. I can spend 15 minutes doing this work, and this could actually generate me an inbound lead if I give you enough value, for example, which hopefully I'm doing. But guys, this is how I'm working around roughly 85 hours per day, and I need you guys to stop thinking. And this is the key that I figured out, and how I was able to go from 3.1k British pounds in April, because I actually slightly dropped down a little bit, all the way up to just under 12,000 USD in 24 days. I started thinking on the lines of this. I'm not joking. This is it. As in, like, you need to put a team in place to duplicate yourself. That's the point. The only problem is that yes, you have to pay in order to do this. As in, like, if you've got an agency and you're doing all the outreach yourself, the lead source and the prospecting, you're probably going to need some sort of staff member to do that, because it's a very personalized job, if you will. I've tried to use software to do this, but it's not really that great at all, to be honest with you, which is why you need to be able to duplicate yourself. Now, in order to do that, you're gonna have to hire some sort of human being. You actually have to hire some human beings, guys. And I've got 2 of them, if you will. I found them on Upwork, by the way, if you're wondering. I get a question asked a lot. And what you do with these people is you teach them what you do on a day-to-day basis and what's actually landing new clients, and you just tell them to continuously do what you've been doing. And then you teach them up, you train them up, and you show them exactly what to do, and they go and do it for you. And you pay them on a monthly basis on how to do this. And this is literally like going from working 1 hour a day to literally 5x in 6x in 10x in your actual input into your business, if you will. Imagine having, for example, 2 people racing to 10K. One of them sends 10 emails per day by themselves, whereas another person hires 4 people to send 25 emails out per day. That's literally a 10x. They're doing 10x more work whilst working even less hours. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys, and that's what I'm trying to get through with the hybrid system, with how I'm working 85 hours per day. It actually sounds nuts when I actually say it, but it's not clickbait, guys. Clickbait. This is actually the statistics that I should have thrown on a screen anyway. But long story short, guys, hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. If you guys are interested in instrumentation, you can now enroll, and there is a split pay option on the actual website itself. So if you want to go and enroll, you can actually jump on that and actually just, you know, go and enroll. The reason why I did that, by the way, guys, is because a lot of people were complaining that you had to have a mandatory call, and people were just already kind of like quote unquote sold. I've literally told people, once I'm already sold, let me just jump in. Like they literally told me I'm actually sold, let me just jump in. I don't even want to call. I was like, okay, cool, I'll just send you the invoice. And they jumped in, absolutely loving it. So what I've decided to do is change up the kind of funnel, if you will, and change it to more of like, you can opt in, you can actually, you know, sign up and whatnot and actually jump into the program if you guys want to, of course, inside of instrumentation. That being said though, guys, hope you're doing well. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. I will be dropping a couple more videos over Christmas and stuff like that, hopefully. And hope you guys have a great new year. If I don't see you guys on YouTube, I probably will be dropping some more videos for sure. But anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and start thinking smart, guys. Anyway, peace.